Welcome to Blockbuster Bums. Kick back your recliner, crack open a beer, and let's talk movies. And today we'll be talking about The Spy Who Loved Me, the 10th installment of the James Bond series. And Roger Moore returns as James Bond for, is this his third? Is that correct? This is, Roger Moore's third movie.
And counting.
And counting. He'll return again, I suppose, for some more after this. I don't think that's too much of a giveaway here at this point. So just as a quick synopsis, Justin, what do you got for us?
All right. This one is interesting. We have in a globe-trotting assignment that has him skiing off the edges of cliffs, driving a car deep underwater, British super spy James Bond, the old man, unites with sexy Russian agent Anya Amasova, a.k.a. XXX, to defeat megalomaniac Karl Stromberg, who is threatening to destroy New York City with, once again, nuclear weapons. Didn't see that coming. Bond's most deadly adversary on this case is actually not Stromberg, but his henchman. One of the best ones in the game so far, Jaws. 7 foot giant with terrifying steel teeth. Let's see what Bond does with this one.
Yes. Thank you, Justin. All right, let's do our little around the room here. Barry, what did you think of your first watch of The Spy Who Loved Me?
I watched this twice over the last 2 or 3 days. To be perfectly frank, I didn't enjoy it much the first time. I didn't hate it, but I was kind of indifferent to it. I found the music was kind of obnoxious to me. And it just didn't strike me as the level of fun that I want to have with the James Bond movie. But I did watch it a second time, and I did find myself enjoying it more, just kind of accepting it on its own basis. I even started to like the weird late 70s funk music that they somehow implemented into it. So all in all, I'd be hard pressed to say that I didn't like the movie. I liked it just fine, but I didn't love it.
All right. Tom, what did you think in your rewatch?
Well, this was one that I Jaws is one of my favorite villains and all that.
Absolutely.
I remember even when my brother and I would play James Bond as kids and everything. It was a fight who got to be the bad guy in that aspect. It wasn't about being 007. It was like, no, I want to be the guy with metal teeth that you can't beat. Like, it's like I want to be invincible. Basically, is what it was. But I'll have to agree with Barry though. As far as the Bond movies that we've seen so far, I think they tried new stuff in it, and you can kind of see what stuck and what didn't. But, I mean, it had some redeeming qualities here and there, but it's just middle of the road. Like, I mean, if it was on TV, I'd probably put it on as background music or just something to hear too.
Justin?
I actually enjoyed it. Now, I mean, no, it's not on par with, the ones we've seen, Russia with Love, Thunderball, Goldfinger, of course not. But it's still a solid movie for Roger Moore as Bond. I did enjoy some of the back and forth with with XXX, the Russian agent.
That
I did
was
like
good.
that.
I liked
For me,
that.
that made
Yeah.
the movie. The back and forth between them was really good.
The banter. I like that.
Yeah,
It's like I can one up you. Like,
Right. But no, I enjoyed it. It's just the end was really, it kind of fell flat for me. So that was that. I like it. I would watch it if it's on. I'd watch it again. But yeah, I think they dropped the ball in the ending.
Ray?
All right. Before I say if I liked it or not, throw out a disclaimer here.
Sweet
I
Jesus.
promise I will try and keep the XXX references to 1 to 3. And you'll know why I'm saying this here in a minute.
It's the first XXX movie. Like,
Yeah, pretty much.
State of the Union.
Also, there's another podcast that me and Alex are on. We talk about how all championships are not created equal on Sports the Nemo way. Well, not in this case. I'm talking about not all titties are rated equal. Because if these titties were rated in 2023, this movie would be R-rated. Now, with that said, I thought this was the best Roger Moore one so far. I thought the villain was pretty relentless, diabolical, especially with that killer henchman Jaws. I just thought this is because the other two I definitely didn't like as much as this one, but I really liked this one much more than the other two.
Fair enough. Well, I'll take it a step further. I think not only is this the best one we've seen so far, I think it's Roger Moore's best movie. And I don't think it's particularly close. I liked the movie. I think Jaws is, like Tom said, just such a memorable villain. I think Stromberg is a little bit forgettable as a villain, but Jaws makes up for it. He's really the main protagonist of the movie, not really Stromberg. And we mentioned the back and forth between Bond and XXX, and I think the plot there between just the relationship with those two, Russia and Britain's top agents having to work together, plus Bond has just killed her boyfriend, husband, lover, whatever he is to her, has just killed him. They still have to work together even after she finds out. All that, and they're always the one-upmanship between the two of them, and trying to show each other up in front of their bosses. I just thought that part of that really was a great plot. They kind of try it in other movies, and it kind of falls flat. But I do agree with Barry that the score or the soundtrack or whatever you want to look at it, not my favorite by any means.
It was more like porno music, really.
Yeah.
Jazz sex music in there.
It was kind of like they were
Very
stuck
recognizable
between
that tune.
the late 70s and 80s. It was like the eras trying to change in the movie.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
So
you
you get a
don't
little
even
bit of both.
you don't even hear the classic like Bond tune and all that until we even get to him being like riding the camera across the room, and then it's like dun 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 dun. It's like that's the only time you hear it in the movie. Like I was like, you wait till the very end to play his theme song. It's like I get it, he's riding a camera with like a nuke in his lap and all that.
Hold
So
on.
like, now's the time.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but don't they play the Bond music in the parachute scene in the
Do they?
open?
Yeah, I think. Yeah,
Yeah, when the
very-
parachute opens,
yeah,
the
yeah.
music starts.
Yeah.
Which
I was-
that
then
opening
that's
was
like
awesome.
Not only was that opening awesome, but Justin and I talked about this today. That's all real. They really did that. The guy really jumped off the cliff on skis and parachuted
He
out.
pulled the Travis Pastrana. Oh, that's awesome. Like,
Yeah, like that was really but it took them over. It took them over a week to shoot it because they sent the crews up the mountain and they got hit with a big storm and they had to camp on top of that mountain for a week waiting for the storm to break so they could shoot it. Like they almost canceled that part of the movie because they were like, well, we can't come down anyway, so we might as well keep staying up here.
Yeah, just wait for the shot. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're stuck there.
So
I love the arrogance of it all. This when it comes out as the British flag.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
you're a secret agent and everything. All mission. I was like, UK. Like, just,
I love that. I thought
I
that
did,
was
like, yeah,
awesome.
just
It was
like
a
a-
nice touch.
it's like a big middle finger to the Russians when they're chasing after you and all. Like,
Yeah.
XXX reference number 1. XXX Vin Diesel snowboarded down the hill. Bond skied.
who did it better?
Did you guys pick up on that it was XXX's boyfriend chasing him? Did you ever pick? I didn't pick up
No.
on it.
Oh,
Even
no,
when the guy showed his face, I still didn't recognize him.
No,
No, I didn't
I
either.
got it as the foreshadowing. Like, because I was like, why are they showing these two? And then the mission, then we cut to them. I just assumed automatically.
I say I didn't pick up. I didn't recognize the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you see XXX in bed with this other agent, this man, I didn't necessarily put it together. I thought it was just kind of like, oh, he's a red herring to make you think that he's the XXX agent.
Well, they definitely tried that.
we
Yeah.
did try that.
So I
and all,
didn't
but then-
piece together the idea that, oh, he's also, somebody that Bond
Yeah, they're just
offed.
they're just agents and all. But once again, it's a spy game and all that. So like I loved the ski gun. Like that was awesome.
Yeah.
Like, so that was just turn around, just pop. Like,
I think that
then
this-
he was the only one of the Russians that were killed there. So I was like, all right, there's a lot of foreshadowing going on here.
Mhm.
Like, But then, yeah, it's like later on, it's like, why is this guy's death so important? You had a whole close up on him and everything.
Right.
Like usually, you just see him fall off a screen or something like that, and all. And here, it's like you get your own air times. Like you're important in some way later on. Like, but then, yeah, but like I said, I liked how it added that layer of like complexity and everything between Anya and Bond, just because like you said, there was the banter, like who can get one over who, and it's like spy versus spy basically still. And then turned around even with the sexual tension and all that, that's like, oh, and I happened to like kill your lover like inadvertently and all that. Like, but no, I think it was done and played out well. And then even to the very end when she has like the gun and the capsule and everything, and it's like, you know, the mission's over. It's like, yeah, I'm still,
Yeah, all it takes is him to make her laugh.
yeah,
And she-
and that, yeah, that's all it is. Just crack a
and
joke.
She's ready.
Like,
She is DTF.
So since we're talking about her and Bond's dynamic so much already, which is fine by me, you know, I think when she asks him about him potentially having killed her lover,
no.
his response was perfect. You know,
Well,
that's what James Bond would do. Is he wasn't a complete a-hole about it, of course, but he stepped away for just a moment, and then he was just very blunt about it. This is what happens, and he didn't apologize for it. He just said, "This is the way it is," and moved on. And I thought that was
He was
great.
trying to kill me. It was either him or me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is one of those, you know, at some level she has to know that as well. It's just one of those like, oh well, it's like,
It's the job.
yeah,
Yeah.
oh, it's not like it's like, oh, like if he would have killed you, then it would be me on the mission by myself right now type thing.
Right.
It's, you know,
Which
which she would have been dead a long time ago then.
and that's what
Like,
Bond's supposed to take
Yeah.
the emotion out of it. You know, that's who he is. You know, kind of at his core. You know,
Yeah, but she'd already made him emotional at one point in the movie because he got very defensive when she brought up Tracy.
Yeah. Well, and that was the thing. He's like, yeah, it's like, you know, you're emotional and all, and he's like, you know,
Yeah, that's
certain
enough.
things are
We're done
sometimes.
talking
like,
here.
yeah, but even that was very restrained. That was just, I'm not going to talk about that.
Yeah.
You know,
But like I said, it's them going back and forth, just like, hey, I have a whole dossier on you. Like, I know everything about you. Like, and they're just going
Everything.
back. Like I said,
Even
it's
when
just,
you were another guy.
yeah, it's just one upping each other on the details of each other's life, to where it's like, you can't hide anything from me. Like, I know so much about you and all that. Like, they've made me study you. Like,
Well,
he showed.
I thought the thing that caught my attention was about their dynamic was that she very much so was Bond's equal. Like she was,
As
she
far
was.
as competency, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, and she was Russia's number one. He was Britain's number one. She one upped him multiple times. She came away the better in certain situations when he came out the worse. Even multiple times in front of their superiors. But it wasn't done in a ridiculous way like we would do in today's movies, where we have to show women's superiority to men.
It wasn't over the. It was a jab.
Yeah.
That's all it was. It was like, you know, it was like, I got it with ease and all that. And
Right.
like, just look at it like, it wasn't that easy.
But
woman."
but they
just
but they didn't go out of their way to spend half the movie showing you how stupid James Bond is in compared to her.
well, but yeah,
Yeah.
but you're not, like I said, you're not trying to, like I said, you're trying to display that these are two equal agents in different countries as
Right,
well. You're not trying
exactly.
to show that one's better than the other necessarily.
You're
Like,
not trying to evoke it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But
Yeah.
man, I did love, like you said, some of the gadgets that she had though too. Like I liked like the whole like cigarette thing that was Sly on the boat.
She got
like,
him. She got him
That
good.
was good. Yeah, he woke
he
up
thought
and-
he was getting something.
Yeah, and he's like, oh,
Oh,
she was
okay.
like, are you
He's
trying
good.
to seduce me and all that? It is like,
Hey, what'd you guys think of James Bond getting the first ever text message on that watch?
That was hilarious.
Yeah.
That label maker fucking shit coming out.
that was
Yeah, it
great.
yeah, I like that a lot.
The watches, man, they do all sorts of things. We went from one movie where his watch turned into a saw to then his watch, like you said, like received a text message, and then we have other movies where like he can get explosives out of it. He can do all sorts of
The old
things.
boy steps up his gadget game.
He does.
Like you can tell they got a bigger budget approved that year. Like,
By the way, speaking of gadgets, when the two of them report to their superiors, like to M and whatever, I can't remember the other guy's name, her superior. When they report to them in the pyramid, and Q, you go to Q's area, and the floating tray of tea tray, like decapitates a dummy,
Yeah.
and I'm like, whoa, like where did that come from?
That may have
yeah.
been the most fun Q scene to this point. I mean,
Yeah.
what do you guys think?
Well, I really liked the back and forth between Q and Bond in this one. Like I was telling Holtz that the other day, like you can really see it in like when Q gives him the car, because then it was like, just don't mess it up, man. Like it's like he's so proud of what he's done and everything. He's like, just you let me down frequently. You're always breaking my stuff. Like just be careful. And then not like 10 minutes later, you're getting chased by a helicopter and all that, and like you got to actually use the submarine mode, which was awesome and everything to see for the first time on it. 'Cause,
Yeah,
like,
it was awesome.
I think we
The
all remember
Lotus
the
was
car,
cool.
like,
Yeah.
just bloop.
Now Lotus is, of course, as their British-made, kind of bespoke vehicles, terribly unreliable. So it wouldn't have made it through any of this. But it looked really cool.
I just honestly the only thing that disappointed me about that car was I wanted gull wing doors for some reason.
I would.
Like when I first seen it, I was like, "That's a cool car." Like I really hope it has doors like the DeLorean. Like
Yeah,
just
that
give
would
me
be
a
a
good
great
gull
look on
wing.
that car.
Like
So, speaking of that scene, when Q shows up and gives Bond the car, do you think, because Bond walks away from XXX and goes and talks to Q, and we are not privy to that conversation? Like, we can't hear anything that is said. Do you think they do that because we're supposed to be at the vantage point of XXX, or do you think they do that because they want the submarine thing to be a surprise?
a little column A, little column B.
I'd say both.
Yeah, because he's walking around the car. He points at several different things.
Right, but we just don't hear anything.
Yeah, so it's,
also
yeah.
you can, this is a submarine. They don't want to. I think it was more they didn't want to give it away.
Yeah.
And I think
Because it was cool. It was
Yeah, it was the first time
incredible.
and everything. Like I said, he's pointing to the back. You see that's where all like the propellers come out of and all that. And like I said, we see everything that they walk around and point at and all. So it was like, yeah, like. But I think it was also to the point, like the vantage point of Anya, to where like we don't want the Russian to know this either. Like, hey,
But
like
she knew.
yeah, I was
She
gonna
knew how
say
to work it and everything.
Yeah, I was gonna say it
She's
was.
seen the specs 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is this car, is it as cool as the Aston Martin?
As in, like, the car itself? No.
I think what it can do is cooler than the
Yeah.
Aston Martin, but the
Yeah.
Aston Martin was
I was gonna say,
iconic though.
As a tool, it's better. But
I mean, I think this car, being a submarine, is top 5 most iconic Bond things ever. I mean, the scene with them driving out of the beach in the car is like one of the most iconic Bond scenes of all time.
Yeah, because he really drove something out the water. I mean, it was a car, and they had really fitted with things to be able to still come out of the water.
Yeah,
And
when
it
I was
did.
watching
It worked.
that, I was wondering how they did that. Like, did they have a winch that was pulling it and you just couldn't see it?
Well, you
Probably.
it looks like there were
Awesome.
multiple versions of that car.
Yeah.
Because there was the one that had the smooth bottom, which was the actual submersible, and then there was the car itself. I want to say there was. I don't know if you saw it. There's multiple versions of it though.
that's probably just picked an unreliable car and everything. Hey, we can trash these things over and over. Like it's.
But I mean, they put a lot of work into it. It was really cool.
Oh, it had to. Yeah.
I have never read anything about what they had to go through with the car sub thing, but I've read some things they've done with boats and cars and stuff in the past, and how many they went through to do it, and how many takes it took and stuff. And sometimes it's astronomical. Like, it takes them forever to get the stuff right sometimes. Like, I read an article the other day that there was a scene where, Bond is in a suit, a suit and tie, like he has a lot. And the problem wasn't that they ran out of vehicles. It was that they ran out of suits. He kept messing up his suits during the scenes, and he ran out of suits. And they're like, "We can't shoot anymore today because we don't have any more suits."
Just pissing off
Take 'em
wardrobe
off to
left
the
and right.
Yeah.
But no, and then like the car chase scene, like even with gadgets, it speaks to what Strombo has, to where like old boy with the motorcycle, the whole sidecar is a giant missile. Like
Yeah.
That chase scene was
Yeah, that
awesome.
was a good.
Yeah.
I like that sidecar shit. That was
like
pretty
that.
That was
sweet.
very cool.
But
Yeah.
then how low was that helicopter flying too? Like
That
she could have just chopped people and everything with that. She's like basically on the road. Like you could have just landed on the car. Like you
Yes.
just crushed it. Like
This movie was beautifully shot. One of the best scenes was that chase scene where you see the front end of the Lotus, and of course the beautiful background, and then you see the helicopter, just
Right.
kind of sidle up beside it.
Yeah.
That was awesome. I want to mention something else real quick. I'm going to go back to something Alex kind of briefly touched on. And Ray may not like this because I know he's a big fan of the Scorpion King. I don't
No.
care for anything set in Egypt. I like the idea of Egypt, but everything's brown and bland, and it takes me out of it.
I don't know if
Very-
they, I wonder
everything
if
is
they
very
actually shot
beige.
it.
It's a lot of
It's
beige.
very dangerous to be doing any of that there. I don't know if they actually shot there. I wonder.
Yeah.
Well, let me
There's a
ask
lot
you
of
this.
Too many earth
regulations and-
tones. I'm
Let me
sorry.
let me ask you this,
The
Barry.
Yes.
largest cities in the world, still growing.
Did you like the John Wick Egypt scenes?
I've never seen a John Wick.
Oh man,
Oh, you mean like the riding through the sand and
yeah.
that stuff? That
It was like I think it
cool
was
stuff.
2, 3. I think it was the one with Halle Berry, but they had some good cinematography when he was in the desert. When John Wick was in the desert in those.
Yeah,
Well,
he
I
did
told-
it in the last one too.
Barry mentioned that to me earlier today that he doesn't like scenes shot over, essentially in the sand.
Yeah, desert sand, and I like the idea of it to some degree, but it just at a certain point, I'm done looking at that.
Okay.
But I said
Did you like Stargate?
I could see where he was coming from and kind of agree with him, but I was okay with it because we'd never done it before, as far as Bond.
Okay.
So it was one of those things of it was just a new place. Like we'd been to Asia multiple times, we've been all over Europe, we've been to America. Okay, now we went to the desert essentially. Now, okay, maybe in the future we'll go to the jungle. Like so.
I think that the only thing that killed me about the desert scene is when they were driving. Well, I guess it was when Jaws was driving that jank truck and all
Yeah.
that across through, and you just see just like no shocks in the thing. I was like, that is not making it through the desert.
Oh, you mean the van that Jaws tore up?
Yeah, just rips it
And
apart with his bare
the
hands.
silly
basically,
comedy
and-
music that went along with it.
Oh
Yeah.
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 Like yeah, but great villain and everything, and they chase him now. Of course, he's on the hunt for anybody that comes in contact with the microfilm and all. So
He kills quite a few people in this movie.
Yeah.
Jaws, I mean.
yeah, he's a pretty good assassin.
I mean-
he's old boy's number one. Like
Yeah.
I mean,
There for a while before he concentrates on killing Bond, he kills at least, 3 or 4 people before he even gets to Bond.
yeah, and I'll
getting
say
bit.
this. I brought this up with Justin and Holtz. Barry, you may agree. Was the pace of this movie faster than the others to you? Because it seemed like we seen characters come and go super fast. Like old boy that was like just stocky and
Big,
wearing
broad,
shoulder
bald-headed
pads.
henchman.
Yeah, it's like you see him with
there,
Jaws,
he
and it's
got
like, hey,
dropped off the
listen
side
to
of the
him. And then the next thing you know, he James, pushes him off the
Yeah,
roof.
he was off pretty quickly.
Like he's there, and like I said, it's like, or like Alex said, is like Jaws is like offing people quickly. Like we go there to meet, the guy that's gonna sell the film or for the bidding and all that, and then he gets off real quick.
Yeah.
And it just seems like it moved faster than the others. There wasn't like drawn out dialogue or like cinematic cutscenes and sequences.
I will say this, and
Well.
maybe I'm wrong, but there are usually times I can point out in these James Bond movies where I'm like, that went on for too long, and I can't think of one in this movie.
I think that's what I mean. Like, yeah, there wasn't a weird like lingering lag time.
Like we talked about in From Russia with Love, where the train ride seemed to prolong for a long time. Like the train ride just kept going and going, and I don't remember anything in this movie like that.
Well, it even started
There
with
was a
the
train ride, and it didn't seem bad.
yeah.
It was a great scene.
I mean, it even started with the villain. I mean, he started off. He was like, "Peace out, scientist,"
Yeah.
and then he threw that bitch right into the shark tank. He's like, "Bye." They're just throwing and killing people left and right.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he was cold about it. I
Yeah.
love that because just like had the trap door in the elevator for and all that, and made the scientist watch as well. And,
Yeah.
and then made them get in the same elevator and was like, "Goodbye, gentlemen."
They're
Like,
like, oh,
Well,
God.
that was cold right there.
Yeah.
Because then he waited until they were leaving.
Yeah.
He's like,
But that
yeah,
was
you too.
but that was something I like. There was like the way people left each other in this movie said a lot. Like whether you said goodbye or au revoir, like it was one of those things to where it's like, hey, you're either gonna see this person again or you're not, because like goodbye is finite. This woman's gonna die, and it's like others and everything was like au revoir and everything, to where it was like a running gag, but based on like whatever lexicon you're using. Like it was funny. Like
As I've started watching these Bond movies, I try to make it a point to see if things make sense. Like, did it make sense that this person did this or did that? And mentioning the
that could be a rabbit hole.
Stromberg killing of the assistant for basically selling secrets, right?
Yeah.
And then, of course, he could have offed those scientists,
But he
just
didn't.
in the moment.
Oh, yeah.
But he did. but he also destroyed presumably his own helicopter in the process.
Oh, yeah.
But I was able to make it make sense. It's too obvious if he's just killing them there at his lair. This way, it was a helicopter accident,
Well,
and
he
he
still-
doesn't have to explain it.
he still transferred the money to their families.
Oh, well, he's a good man.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you still.
No, he didn't. He canceled the
Yeah, he
transfer.
canceled
Right, he did.
Oh,
Yeah,
I thought
he canceled the
I
transfer.
thought he
No, he
actually
canceled
very
that.
specifically did.
because
Yeah.
that was like something I was like, oh, that's a redeeming quality. Like you're gonna kill him, but you'll at least let the family. Well, he's like, hey, it's like, hey,
Nope,
this
he
is
made that
just
call
yeah,
because he knew that was going to happen. Next camp, no,
You
not
think
getting that.
some
Give my money
fish
back.
fucker's gonna pay people? No.
Yeah.
Fish
He
fucker.
is a fish fucker.
didn't know he was stroking the salmon at the time, Barry. So
Shall we touch on Stromberg for a moment?
Hey, we were talking
Yeah.
about him and everything. We
Yeah.
talk about his Legion of Doom dome and everything, and
Yeah, Atlantis, his lair is very cool.
I
It
do think
is.
it's awesome.
Yeah, that
It's
was awesome. Yeah.
And I loved, and I took note of the way they shot people like approaching it and so forth. And even like, when they go up and dock, and clearly they're just like under a bridge or something.
Yeah.
But it's shot so well that, you just accept it and it looks great.
Right.
So that's an awesome thing. And I know that, the consensus seems to be with Stromberg that he's, not a great villain, but he's all right. I guess I'd tend to agree with that. His idea was kind of not the greatest. It was basically, let's off a good chunk of humanity and then everyone will want to live underwater.
Yeah.
You know?
You got a cool tidbit about Stromberg.
Yeah. So when they started filming this movie, like they had sets built. They were starting to film. Stromberg didn't exist. This was supposed to be Blofeld, and the guy that plays Blofeld got into a huge.
You mean the last guy that played both? Like,
Well, yeah.
Charles Gray, that gentleman's name.
Got into a huge disagreement of some sort with either Broccoli or what's the other guy's name? Saltzman, whichever one was doing this movie, because at this point they've had a falling out, and they are not making movies together. They alternate one. They do one, and then the other one does the next one. I think this one's Broccoli, so he must have got into it with Broccoli. So he gets into it with Broccoli and is fired. And so they replaced him with Kurt Jurgens, is the actor's name. But instead of just making him the new Blofeld, because we've already had like 4 of them, they named him Carl Stromberg and made him just a different guy. So that, I don't know why they'd made that decision, because I said earlier, I think Stromberg is very forgettable as a villain, and I think he's one of the weaker main protagonists in the whole Bond universe.
well, especially as a one-off like that, then.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, well, I mean, they wrote him off. Like, even when Bond goes to visit him the first time, and he's like, "Oh, I'm much of a recluse," and they say, "Oh, if I don't own it, I don't want it," type thing. I don't know. I guess they can through the dialogue they kind of discuss that kind of stuff. But yeah, I feel like it would have made more sense if it was just another Blofeld episode. Because then it's like, hey,
Blofeld. It was nuclear stuff.
yeah, I was gonna say you've been after it
Blofeld's MO.
before, and in this one, yeah, you captured 2 nuclear subs and everything with your oil tanker that opens up.
He caught 3, didn't he?
Well, yeah, I guess
A Britain one, American one, and a Russian
yeah,
one.
because they already had the 2, and then they caught the one with James on. it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess they caught 3.
So I guess here's my question. Maybe I misunderstood, because you guys seem to have a different view of it than me from when we were talking. But I thought that they were going to blow up New York and blow up Moscow and cause a nuclear war between them that would decimate the surface world. That's why everybody needed to live underwater.
Okay, that makes a little more sense. I didn't consider the nuclear fallout.
Am I not?
guess.
Am I wrong on that?
No, that's
Yeah,
what
I
I
don't
was
follow.
kind of getting
Yeah,
at.
I would say that's what I took from
But
it.
the way he
Okay.
said it, I mean, it was kind of wonky the way he kind of explained himself.
Yeah, because how could he cause a war between them two when Russia and Britain were already working together and they knew that it wasn't them? They established that pretty early.
Well, Russia and America.
Well, yeah.
But that's kind of been.
But I mean, like,
well, once
but
again, if
James
it's
and-
Blofeld though, because how many times has Blofeld tried to pit the USSR against the United States?
Yeah, over and over again.
No,
I mean, he
they-
tried to do it
yeah,
with the
because
spaceships. He
stuff that
tried.
says if you don't figure it out,
Yeah.
Like I thought they had already talked it over. They already knew it wasn't each other.
Well, they-
like U.S. and
well,
Russia knew that it wasn't each
they're
other.
both denying
Britain.
it, but there's always, even then, in those conversations where they're both denying it, there's that underlying current of who could it be then? Because we're the world powers, essentially. Because, but by the way, is there not like a huge correlation between the way they did this movie and the way they did You Only Live Twice? I think it's the right movie. The one where they're catching space. Yeah, the opening of the front and catching smaller of the same thing.
Yeah.
And,
As one
you know,
does.
and like, then they're trying to pit Russia and America in a war against each other.
Well, once again,
And,
it's the same plot.
Yeah, same plot, yeah.
Plot.
Yeah, it's different
It's
enough.
just why it
you
should have
know,
been
It's just it's
Yeah.
underwater and
All
not in
Blofeld.
space.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
But yeah, same plot. Like I guess technically both are ships. Like, it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Spaceship, regular ship, whatever.
At the same time, and I don't think you were, didn't bother me in any way, shape.
No,
or form.
I wasn't
It was-
upset
that
about
was
it,
number.
no.
Yeah.
But like Justin said, it kind of makes sense that it would be Blofeld because it's a very similar plan.
Yeah.
Like, you know, he's like, I'm going to make this work one way or the other. I'm going to do it again.
Yeah. Just underwater. Space, water, same thing.
but no, and I love
breathe
even
in there,
like
either
the assault on the tanker when they finally got to it though. Like, I love that too. Once he actually got everybody
how massive
out.
that ship was. It was massive.
Yeah, well, it was supposed to be like the biggest one in the world.
Well, second to because the Triple
yeah.
X said something, and it made the I forgot the that girl's name, but it
Naomi.
like-
I remember Naomi's name.
Yeah.
Naomi was a
Only
lovely,
because it's
lovely
I'm
woman.
mown backwards. It's the only reason you remember it.
I'm Owen.
But no, I loved it too because, like you said, you see like after the commander dies, like in the naval dudes and all, that one little guy's like, I've got this, and he gets shot instantly and everything,
Yeah.
running down that little bridge
He
and
was
all.
not the
and-
hero of the day. He tried
No.
though.
Well, this is the first big fight scene we've seen in a few movies. Since maybe You Only Live Twice, right? Like, how many? Like, there's a crap ton of, like, there's 3 countries' men, and then Stromberg's men all fighting. Like, a lot of killing, a lot of fighting.
It's almost similar to that volcano.
Very similar. Very, very similar.
Running up the stairs like idiots and getting just
Yeah.
Oh
mowed
yeah,
down.
once again, not a guardrail in sight. Like, just not till you're up there.
No
Like,
guardrails in James Bond movies.
nah, you're gonna fall off all dramatic like. But no, but I love how he too like when he sits on the camera and everything after he gets like the explosive out of the nuclear warhead and all that, which
was a good moment of tenseness when he. Had
oh yeah, when you like
Yeah.
it's magnetic and it can't touch the sides and all, and you just see the guys around him like, oh shit, like,
Very good
just.
scene.
But like I said, how could you not be impressed with like this guy just like more or less got captured on purpose and all that, and is now he released all the soldiers that were like in holding. You're watching him pull an explosive out of a nuclear warhead. Then you watch him ride a camera across it, everything to set it there. It's like,
It looked very Star Wars like too. That camera.
oh yeah,
It looked like it came out of like
I
it
know.
belonged to
I
the Death
could-
Star.
By the way,
Oh,
did you,
yeah, it looked kind of like that probe droid thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
From A
It
New
did,
Hope,
it did.
when it came in.
but did you guys notice that Bond never released any Russians? He only released the British and the Americans.
Yeah, he had one. That's his quota.
You
Yeah.
can't release the Russians.
Yeah, you
You
can't
can't do
trust
that. You
the
can never trust
communists.
them. They still might have been behind it.
Like we're still not sure. Like,
Yeah.
but man, like I was telling everybody this. Like there was a shot though where I feel like he looked like Pierce Brosnan. Like, and I don't know if it was like it's like after he blew up that door to get in there and like they've got the control room. There was a shot like, and you see the age of the actor. And I think it was like because of everything you see, like the makeup isn't there, is like pristine and all. It's like his age shows, and like you look like an old Pierce Brosnan. Like I kind of get why they cast him later on. Because I was like,
No, I still can't get there.
I'll show you the snap, man. Like I'll
bad
find the
decision.
freeze frame it.
I thought more looked great. I don't know how old he is in this movie, but he looked $1,000,000.
He's 50.
Is he 50 in this
Yeah,
one?
good on
Uh-huh.
him.
Yeah.
I would guess, and
For
Tom
the- for the
mentioned this
70s,
earlier.
yeah,
I
like-
think there must be some hair dye going on because his hair looks significantly darker to me than it did in previous movies at times. And I thought he looked great. This is going to sound kind of maybe I shouldn't. I thought he looked great in that naval gear Like that
He
was,
did.
That's a good look on
the-
James Bond.
The naval uniform was cool, and I wish, and I mean, I'm not really telling Barry or the listeners anything they don't know. I mean, it's anything that's important, but they never get into Bond's naval background. They tell you multiple times that he was in the Navy before he was in MI6, but and like then he shows up in his naval uniform. They refer to him as commander, all that stuff, but they never like get into his naval career. And I wish they would.
Yeah,
See?
it'd be interesting.
See, and that's the question I was going to ask. What's his actual naval rank in the British Navy?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they will tell us at some point, but I don't remember if they
Because
do.
I was looking at his ribbons on his chest, and if he's been in a long time, he would have had way more than 2 ribbons showing off.
I'm sure it's in the books.
Yeah.
Like I think it's just probably just one of those details that you would have to read because it would backtrack in some
Right.
capacity and all that.
It's an interesting aspect to the character potentially.
Yeah.
Though. I totally agree.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm trying to look it up. I looked it up and it just says, nevertheless, a young James Bond, fresh after college, joined the Royal Navy where he enjoyed a distinguished military career and attained the rank of commander within the R&R Defense Intelligence Group. It was then, around the age of 30, that Bond was recruited to MI6.
Huh. Okay.
Because Bond's supposed to be 37 in this movie.
Okay.
Or no, that's not true. He's supposed to be 37 in Moonraker. So he's 36ish in this movie. So he's supposed to be 36, but he's being played by the 50-year-old. But I will say this: I don't think Roger Moore looks 50 in this movie.
No.
No.
As I say, I think he passed for like mid 30s. I think he
Yeah,
passed
look
for it.
great.
Yeah. Well, shoot, I know 20-years that look in worse shape.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, for
No,
real. Like modern
he-
20-year-olds. Like,
He's doing well thus far. We won't be able to say that for the rest of his career, but he's doing well at this point.
well, and, I mean, I hate to say it, but we even kind of seen Connery kind of.
But Connery's last movie,
mean,
he had
age.
gotten out of shape.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
age. That's
And he was
all.
losing his
Like,
hair.
it's- Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, you get some color in there and everything.
Oh man.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
move around a little bit. Luckily, he's a tall man, so you won't really notice unless you're taller or he's sitting down. So, like, you can play
So-
it off. Like,
So we haven't touched on something that I think is another just wonderful scene. I thought it was so great. I chuckled the whole time I watched it, and I don't even know if I was supposed to. But when Jaws kills a shark with his teeth,
yeah.
Yeah.
He just bear hugs that little bastard. Goes down. Like, yeah, but let's be honest. If you know what that shark's gonna just like. I gotta kill you. Like that's it. Like I'm not just gonna swim around and get bit. Like it's like like be the same way. Bite in, I would shove my hand in there and rip an organ out. Like just hold it. Like I said, it's a shark. As long- if it doesn't swim, it doesn't move. Like
Yeah,
I hate to break it to you,
Jaws is
Tom. You're not biting through that shark.
no, I don't have no teeth. Like I got dab in the eye and everything.
We
Like,
to death too because they showed several times throughout it. Jaws is superhuman. Like the
Oh,
strength
yeah.
and,
Yeah,
like,
clearly.
Oh my
it's
God, yeah.
ridiculous.
the dude is a juggernaut. Like that's all it is. Like, he
Well,
cracked
what
all
happens
those
to him in this
sandstones.
movie? What always happened to him in this movie alone?
Always had the scaffolding fall on
Yeah,
him.
The scaffolding fell on
And
him.
that had the
Well, they-
sandstone blocks on it. So
the-
He just like
The tie thing is in this movie, right?
that was a different guy.
No,
Where the guy was hanging on by his
no.
tie?
Jaws hangs on to his tie and he flips his tie off and he falls
Oh.
off the building.
Okay.
That's at the beginning of this movie, isn't it?
That was the bald guy.
Yeah, that was on
That
the
was the
rooftop
bald
fight.
henchman.
That was a whole
That
different guy.
was the
Yeah, 'cause I remember-
henchman number
That was the one
2.
with the really big shoulders.
Yeah, that's that big
He
like
fought him on the roof and
is
was
it?
hanging by his tie.
Because I
and-
remember,
Okay.
Because I remember just thinking, like, as comparatively as scrawny as Bond is, all this guy would have to do is grip and just pull, and you can kill Bond.
yeah, he would have
with
pulled
you.
them both.
Yeah, I was like, if you're gonna die, you might as well go kamikaze and take
Yeah.
someone with you. Like,
Yeah.
and then he's just
I forgot
nope,
his
you just
name.
fall out at all. Like,
Yeah, I can't remember either. The only thing I remember definitively thinking about that guy is when Stromberg tells him, the big bald guy is what I'm talking about, tells him, listen to Jaws. And I'm like, but Jaws doesn't talk. What is he listening to?
Won't-
Like,
80% of communication is nonverbal. Like, just-
well, neither did Oddjob. Aha! Maybe Jaws had a thing, and
oh, he gets kicked off the train. There's the train scene fight and everything. Like,
yes,
I-
he gets
I-
thrown off. He gets thrown off a
I
moving
love how,
train.
like, for somebody so big and like you're gonna see this fool, like he hides in the weird, like he just pops out of that girl's closet.
I'm not
and
gonna lie.
everything, and just,
I remember originally seeing that, and it scared the crap out of me. Like, first off, Jaws was scary
He
when
looks
you're a
dead
kid.
when she opens it. like you think like he's a dead
He
body.
does have that like
yeah,
Herman,
like a blank-
Herman Munster
yes.
look.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
just like,
My favorite part, and I'm pretty sure it was on the train, and I know Ray would definitely appreciate this. Triple X, to fight him off, gives him a Ric Flair chop.
Woo!
Left me going, woo!
Woo!
And it did not work. So,
no.
but I thought the fight scene on the train was awesome. I'd say it was as good as From Russia with Love. I thought
Yeah.
it was really good.
It was great. Or
The ol-
like
It
when
was
he
to the
grabbed
point.
when he grabbed Bond by the balls in the throat and just slammed him
Yeah.
against the ceiling.
Yeah.
I
But
was like, oh, that would be
the
a
only
hell
part-
of a move to do to somebody.
I liked that too, but the only thing that bothered me was when he was holding him to the ceiling, it was very clearly a doll.
Oh yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah,
come
but-
on, we could have disguised this better than this.
He probably could have actually held Roger Moore.
Well, you're probably right, yeah.
They probably could have just done like, hey,
I wonder how big Roger Moore
bring
is.
the-
I should
bring
look
the
that up.
stuntman in and all.
Did you like? I really liked how Moore beat him, and I hope I'm not confusing this by busting the lamp.
Oh,
and
then he like
electrocuting.
Oh no, that was.
I have a-
perfect.
I have a
that was
question.
perfect. Yeah.
I have a question about that. Roger Moore is 6'1".
okay.
6, of course.
I feel
Yeah.
like somebody who's 7+ would be able to
Yeah,
still
he
pick
was-
you up.
Jaws
Like,
was 7'2".
yeah, I
Yeah.
would say 'cause if you have the muscle mass on that on a 7'2" frame, I'm sure that
Oh, I lost my train of
I
thought.
have a question about Jaws for you guys. Now, I do love the character, and I can tell you guys all like the character too. I do think it's weird. I know he's Jaws and he's got the metal teeth. His manner of killing people, that's weird. That's
Yeah.
a weird route to take.
It's and when
He
he
should have some kind of a sickness by now by biting all that blood that's got in his mouth.
well, not only that, he
But-
just goes in so sensually like
it almost,
He gives him a smile first.
Well,
And he's, you know,
honestly at first
eases
like
them into
it
it.
almost seems like is there poison involved in the teeth? And
No,
stuff?
I
no,
looked
it's
it
just-
up.
It's just
It-
like the bite
he-
force. is
he's-
so much.
He's supposed to be collapsing
Like a
their
rip out an
their
aorta.
carotid artery,
Yeah.
or not their carotid. Carotide's in your leg. Which one's in your neck?
Aorta?
Aorta. Yeah, he's supposed to be collapsing their aorta. Is what he's supposed to be
It's kinda
doing.
what big cats do. Where they
Which I
grab the
Yeah.
neck
picked
and
up
just-
on it,
yeah.
and I'm
Mhm.
like, okay, I get it. He's Jaws, and they're implementing the teeth in his manner of killing. But it's weird.
It is weird. I mean, you
He
figure.
go around biting people.
Well,
That is
here's
weird.
my thing. Here's my
He
thing.
doesn't kill
He
people that-
rips a van apart with his bare hands. I feel like he should be able to rip you almost apart with his bare hands, or at least crush your head
They
against
just-
something.
or
You
at
know?
least just grab you and break.
Yeah.
Like stuff there, because yeah, he's just like ripping like, and yeah, it's a foreign car, so it's probably shit. So it's like, but he just opens it up like a tin can, and I really thought he was gonna bite that tire when he ripped that fender off. And I'm like, there's no way he's gonna do that right now. I was like, I don't remember that at all, and he didn't. But the whole time, I just like how Bond's in the car, just watching her. Like she clearly can't drive stick for some reason. You're this competent agent
Yeah,
and
he
all
kept
that.
looking at her like,
Yeah,
you
he's
got
like,
it?
You
know?
can't. You got to put it in reverse. Like and it's like, what are you doing? Like,
Watch this.
yeah, like I just
After
like,
all the grinding she did, she's lucky the transmission worked.
No,
yeah,
it was
the whole thing.
terrible.
But then once it broke down, she knew exactly what was wrong.
Oh yeah, she's
It's like,
look-
how are you
looked
such a
and-
good
oh, yeah.
mechanic, but you can't use the machine? Like,
Right.
I don't understand the connection there and all that. I don't know if it's like a stereotype they just tossed in there.
probably.
But man, like he destroyed that thing.
I also kind of took it like
Like it had
maybe
to have been fun.
maybe she could drive a stick, but maybe him ripping the car apart while they were in it just made her so insanely nervous she was screwing up over and over again.
That could be true. Yeah,
I
that's
had
true
heard-
too.
I'd rather just think that she can't drive rather than her being an incompetent agent under pressure.
I heard after initial watching this that she actually, the actress, couldn't drive, and that they kind of ad-libbed that scene.
Yeah, but the
I
good
don't know
thing
how
is-
accurate that is.
The good thing is you're in the desert. You don't have to know how to drive. Fuck, just pick a direction. Like, just like,
Hit the gas
what,
and go.
what are you gonna hit? Yeah, I was gonna say, unless you hit some soft sand, you're not gonna get stuck.
Yeah,
Like,
you might roll it.
Did you guys think that scene went on a bit too long? Did it overstay its welcome for you? It did for me, just a little bit.
I was all right with it.
I
Yeah.
would,
Okay with it.
I will say, yeah, there was a point where I was waiting. I was like, where's the getaway? What's left of this vehicle?
Right.
Because, like I said, by the time he gets the front, the roof, the side, the back, like I was like, there's nothing left of this vehicle. Like it's not gonna make it. It didn't. But yeah, after a while, I was like, it's just pure incompetence is all we're seeing.
Yeah.
Well, and that I was wondering why he didn't just go for the doors.
Yeah, you
He
could
kept
just
going for
rip-
different parts of the car
just rip-
around
he
the
just
door, and
peeled
then
the
at the
side
end,
off,
he
like-
finally goes for the door. I'm like,
Yeah, or even
come
like
on,
while
Jones.
you have it up, just rip one of the doors open, everything just through the back. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like it was. I don't know.
It's amusing enough. But
Oh, I
it was
love-
silly,
They
and
just
that's all
wanted
I
to
would
display
see.
Jaws' strength, and
Yeah.
they did.
Exactly. By the way, because picking up that rock didn't do it. That's what I could have picked that rock up.
Yeah, at the end when they finally get away,
Yeah.
he just holds it.
Boom! They
like,
just looking at it like,
like he was gonna launch it at the car. I thought he was when they
Yeah.
showed him picking it up, but it was just
Now that would have been cool.
yeah.
That would have been pretty cool.
Yeah, if you'd have chucked that rock like
Yeah.
a baseball just right at the van, that would have been legit.
Yeah.
That would have been real legit.
I don't think CGI was good enough then.
could have done like a wrecking ball thing, and they just like CGI the rope out or something. Like,
Or it could have just been like they show him throwing it, and then they show it hitting the van. They don't have to show the actual
yeah, they
flight
yeah,
and
just
everything.
Do a cutscene.
Yeah, they do some really terrible cutscenes for him at certain points anyway. So
Whenever he goes in for that bite, there's some bad cutscenes.
Yeah.
Like it's like I get you're trying to make it dramatic that he's about to kill somebody, but like it doesn't land. Like I said, it just comes across weird.
It doesn't help when he comes around again either. It's bad.
very bad.
But yeah, it's like so he gets like the sandstone in the desert. He gets like kicked off the train.
Which killed Teehee. Getting thrown off the moving train killed Teehee,
See, he died.
but not Jaws.
No, and he even went through like some electric fence or something like that. As he's rolling down the hill, he like hit something, sparks are flying and all that.
He kind of just brushed himself off.
Yeah, he
which
just sits
was
up and he
excellent.
He just looks at the train. He's like,
That's what I was gonna ask
Dude's
earlier.
cardio's awesome.
One
He's
of you,
walking everywhere.
one of you guys asked about him electrocuting Jaws with the lamp.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask, shouldn't that have electrocuted him too? Because he had his hands around his neck.
Yeah, he was holding him.
So if it electrocuted Jaws, shouldn't it have gotten him too?
These are the chances you take.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess like it's one of those. I'll take the shock. Like even if it's a smaller voltage, by the time it gets to me, if this motherfucker lets go, like, it's a win. Like,
Yeah.
like that's all it is. Like, but yeah, I thought that was a good one. And then even afterward, like, he got Anya and all that after that. Like kicked him off the train and everything, and went in there and all that. He's like, "What are we gonna dress the wounds with?" Like this.
Yeah.
Like, I was
Yeah.
like, smooth. Like
Not
hmm
a bad prize.
no, go Bond. Yeah, like
Yeah,
I feel like it's a decent reward. Like
I mean, yeah, and she was smoking. She was definitely
Mm-hmm.
very
it will be
attractive.
it will be interesting when it comes time to rank.
Yeah. She doesn't beat Solitaire no matter what. Doesn't matter. I don't care.
But it was one of those to where like I don't know, like. But then after we see him like kill the shark and like just Atlantis or the Legion of Doom dome like is destroyed, he swims away. You're in the middle of the ocean and everything. Like forget walking everywhere. Like this guy's just gonna swim to shore. Like
Yeah, he's a bad man.
yeah, like
Well, the shark movie Jaws came out in the 70s, right?
Came out the year before this.
So there was like, our Jaws is going to be better than your fucking Jaws.
This is what James Bond seems to do. They draw from the pop culture, which is
Yes.
fine. You
Yeah.
know.
I can see
Smart
that,
in many
yeah.
ways. So I'm going to mention this, and maybe this is too big of a topic for this. I got to tell you guys, I like Sean Connery a lot, and he probably still edges out more. I like Roger Moore. I think Roger Moore is way underappreciated. I think he pulls off Bond excellently. He's obviously smooth. He's
I think he's coming into his
does well with the action. He's got a good sense of humor. I really like Roger Moore.
Here's my thing. I like Roger Moore too. I don't think he's a terrible Bond. I think he does a good job. His movies are not on par. His movies are not as good as Connery's movies. And I think that hurts
Haven't
him.
you seen Diamonds Are Forever?
But I think they
Yeah. But the second part of it is though, and I think this is true. I think we can all admit this. Roger Moore's fight scenes are terrible.
Yeah.
Roger Moore can't fight, and it's very obvious because his fight scenes are awful, and they remain awful through all of his movies. The guy can't throw a punch or a kick or anything. Like, he doesn't look like, maybe he wasn't athletic or something. Like, he can't pull it off. His fight scenes are terrible.
Yeah.
And that we weren't saying that about
there are
Connery.
some people that look weird when they try to throw a punch, though. Let's be honest.
yeah.
Like there are some people who are like, yeah, you may know how to fight, but your body just doesn't do it. Like it's like you watch somebody ball up a fist, and it's like it just doesn't look natural you doing that. But also, I think that's kind of like a feeling out process. Like we didn't see the damn cigar in this movie and all
Thank
that.
God.
And in that last one, like, there was no martini. In this one and everything, it's the agent, Anya was like, oh, martini shaken, not stirred and everything, like, presents it to him. And even when he meets his contact in Egypt, he even offers him the drink. So it's like, everybody knows, like, this about you and everything. So, like, they bring echoes of earlier movies back, and they kind of drop some of the stuff they've tried. Like, I think it's like a feeling out process from Roger Moore in these movies.
Yeah.
But,
Kind of like
it's-
us.
Yeah. As I say, it's
Yeah.
the more you do it, the better at you get. You dial
Yeah.
the stuff in and all, and I guess the way it sounds like it really depends too on what director you're working with. Because like if every other movie has Roger Moore, if you have a different director, it's like that's got to be a pain in the ass.
Okay, so I have something to say about that too. So, like I said earlier, and Tom just mentioned it again, they have had a falling out. Broccoli and was it Salzman?
Saltzman, yeah.
Salzman, have had a falling out. Well, and the Man with the Golden Gun. Okay, well, it kind of flopped in the box office, and
Was that one they did together, or was that a solo project?
it was the last one they did together.
Okay.
And so essentially this movie was Alfred Broccoli's like, I'm going to fix what was screwed up, and he pretty much blamed it on Salzman, like, and I'm going to fix this. And part of him fixing it was, first off, money wasn't an option in the budget. Like, they spent a boatload of money making
that
this.
John Hammond mentality. Right. Spare no expense.
And the second thing they did was pretty much, this is going to be James Bond, the James Bond we were successful with. So I think that's part of the reason why the martini was back, the cigars were gone.
You think
You
that
know.
may have also been like the cause of some of the tension between him and the last Blofeld then too?
I don't know.
Because as I say, if now money's no expense, if I was Blofeld, I might want more and all that. And it's like, hey, I'm not going to give you it that, here, take this, take it or leave it type thing. And if you're trying to already prove a point to your, like, your equal and all that, more or less, like, hey, this is my solo project. I'm going to do Bond and I'm going to show you that I was right. Like, I could see how that may cause friction on set.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can mess around the edges a little bit, but it doesn't make any sense to try to make too many changes to who James Bond is, or frankly, to what a James Bond movie is.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know?
because then it just becomes a caricature of itself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like, and then it becomes a joke, and it's like then it loses all the magic behind
yeah,
it.
exactly.
Like you don't get enthralled in the story as much.
But then this movie was hugely successful in the box office. So he did what he set out to do. And I'm sure that was probably a bigger point of contention. I don't know that between the two of them, but he's like, well, I did it my way, and look what the hell happened.
Oh yeah,
I'm
Classic
sure.
Brady versus Belichick.
Yeah.
Who was really the reason why he was successful?
yeah. Because then going from there on out, especially like, do you know how much money it made?
I didn't write it down. This movie
Probably
made.
didn't make as much since versus the budget. He probably didn't.
Oh,
make
maybe.
back as-
Maybe percentage wise.
much as they would
But I
have
mean,
if it
like I
was a
said,
smaller
if this
budget.
even if this beat out the last, the last one with the flop and
Oh,
Oh, it did. It definitely did that.
Yeah,
Yes.
so it's one of those to where like I mean, if I was the director and everything, and just this was my first solo project in the franchise, I'd probably be strutting around afterward.
Yeah.
Like I was say it,
I'd venture to say, wasn't it Thunderball that had the biggest gross earnings? And I would imagine it would be. I can't imagine this would have beat it out.
No, Thunderball and Goldfinger are 1 and 2 even to this day. I mean, adjusted for inflation. I mean, not because they didn't make as much as like Craig's movies. Obviously, make more than the movies did back
Yeah,
then. But
well, once again, adjust for inflation. That dollar doesn't mean shit.
Right.
It's like,
Yeah.
I was gonna say that's basically an IOU. Like, just,
I'm looking. Sorry, trying.
What did you guys think of the way Stromberg died? Wow.
shot in the dick.
He was. He was.
Roll to the left or the right.
That which is not a good way to go.
He
I
tells
hear.
you
He
what.
stared at him as
He
he was
tells
getting-
you it's
he's like-
coming. He's like, you shot your shot.
Hey,
Yeah, like basically saying now it's my turn, and he's like, okay.
Yeah,
Sit
he
there
just sits
and
there
wait
like,
for it.
Yeah.
oh,
Are you
yeah,
gonna make
yeah.
it?
Like this is
Oh, I
chess.
got
You don't
hit.
have to.
Damn it.
Like,
I mean, I've only had
Am I
a
gonna get hit
gun
again?
pointed at my penis 3-4 times in my life. I moved every time.
It's almost like, do it, I dare you. He does it.
Oh yeah, it was so anticlimactic.
It was not a great death.
No.
No.
Yeah, that's why I didn't like that the ending.
Yeah, I
He just went
I
out
honestly
very
was expecting him to get
stupidly.
eaten by the shark or something like that in some way. Like
Like, you're
I don't know.
smart.
I
You built a
expected,
whole
yeah.
basically underwater city thing, and you just sit there and get shot in the dick because you were hoping that he missed.
But it's in a tube. It's going
Through a
this way.
tube
Yeah,
that was
like,
already aiming at your dick.
yeah. Like
I also have to take some issue with Bond unnecessarily killing lovely dear Naomi as she was.
Came after him in the
she was
helicopter.
she was in the chopper.
She had to go.
He was underwater at this point, safe. She wasn't going to find him, and then this son of a bitch still decided I'm going to kill this beautiful woman.
he's got
I just
Well, he didn't.
he's got
He didn't get
shit on it.
laid.
He's
They
like,
didn't get.
"Alright,"
He
he's
didn't
like,
get laid by her. So
Yeah, I was
she
gonna say,
had to
it's-
go. She had to go.
I did like when she's like on the hot chopper, like side by side with the car. They look over at each other, and it's like, oh,
that was probably my
You know
favorite
what?
scene in the
Yeah.
movie. Was that
Speaking of Naomi, I thought it was really weird. It was right after him and Triple X slept together. All of a sudden, she's jealous. Like when he goes to the
Yeah.
Legion of Doom place and Naomi meets him, she's got this whole like, you better stay away from my man look on her
Yeah.
face.
She does very
Like,
much so.
Wow, you just slept with him one time.
I caught that.
And that was
But
it.
he's
and
he's
she
very
hadn't found out about
flirtatious during that though. Like he's totally
Yeah.
flirting with her right in front of Naomi.
But forget
Or,
flirtation.
right.
Yeah, but they're not
I
together.
loved
It's
how
the
he's
job.
talking down to her the
She
whole
should know the
time.
job.
yes, he does.
Hey, he's just talking down to her the whole time, and I was just like, "Oh, he's just jabbing at
Well,
her." in
that's the
character.
thing.
And he's like, "Oh, darling, don't be a bother." Like it's just
Roger
little stuff like that. I was like, "Oh, that is not going to withstand the test of time."
Roger Moore's Bond is over the top, the most like chauvinistic Bond of all of them, and it's not even remotely close.
Oh, but
He's like even
what
even
got
we
me.
we made a lot of jokes about it a couple weeks ago, but even the whole "your time will come" to
who hasn't said
you
that to a
know
woman?
like
Haven't
But-
said it and been successful.
but anyway, back to the money they made. I did finally find that. The Spy Who Loved Me made about $47 million. After The Man with the Golden Gun made 20.
Do you know how much it cost to make
Wait, what was the
Spy?
budget?
No, because this is how much it made after the went through how much it made after.
Like, are you adjusting for inflation with that
It's-
scale?
No, I'm not adjusting
whatever
for
it made its
inflation.
We're
budget.
just talking. Okay.
What?
After it made its budget.
Yeah, after it made its budget.
Okay.
Yes.
So I think that most every time we talk about these, we at least make mention of the theme song.
Disappointing.
This
No,
is the
sucked.
Carly Simon. I don't know if it's called "The Spy Who Loved Me." I take
I
it
think
as
it is.
nobody does it better.
Yeah.
Which is it's a fine enough song. It's not my cup of tea necessarily, but I don't hate it either. I thought the Bond intro was fine. Nothing spectacular. The artsy thing they do at the beginning. It was okay. I will say that the end of the movie, with Bond and Triple X, doing their thing,
And another boat thing.
and the song busts in, and it's a pretty song, but they decided to go with some weird like show tune version of it that was just really didn't fit at all. And then they slid into the regular Carly Simon version. I thought that was a little odd, but I always think the song's worth mentioning.
Yeah. I was
Well, yeah,
like,
they're
this-
supposed to be a big part of the movies. They go all out for these things, essentially making a music video for.
Yeah.
for
Yeah,
them.
that's pretty
the
much what it
beginning.
is, and it's like it's kind of like an amuse bouche for a good dinner. It's like you're gonna get see everything that you're about to see in the movie, like in this song and all that. Like you're gonna see in the background and have little clues about what's gonna happen in the movie and all that. Even how she stupidly holds the gun like this all the time to her body and all
Yeah,
like I
you're-
want to
you're
shoot you and
Russia's
chip a tooth at
number
the same
one, and you're
time.
Going
Like,
around
proper
holding a gun
form.
like this.
and yeah, you're a professional agent and everything, and that's your form. Like it's, I don't know. They're little nuances like that, but yeah, the opening, the only part that I liked was when they had like the girls doing like ballerina like moves on the barrel of the
Yeah,
gun.
that was cool.
Like that was like the coolest part of the whole intro to me. But other than that, like
It's not memorable necessarily.
no, like other than the chorus from the song and everything, yeah, I was like meh. Like, and that's really all I remember because it's the only redeeming quality of it. But other than that, even with like the colors and like the how eclectic it was like there's still just so much black background.
Yeah.
But the movie itself is very bright and vibrant, so it's like I don't know what I don't know, it just didn't land right.
Yeah, I agree.
Like that's all. It didn't connect the way the others did. I think it was so far not. It was like it's got to be like my bottom intro. Like,
Yeah.
If we rank those, like
It was they used 138 million to make this movie.
Jeez.
Oh wow.
in the
So
70s.
they made 138 plus the 45 or 40.
Yeah, they made a total of 185 million dollars.
There you go.
Jeez.
I don't.
That's good,
I was saying
but it's
that's
not great.
that's before Reaganomics.
But in what?
Shut your mouth.
1977. I'd say that's a lot of money.
Yeah, that's before.
I bet
They
it-
made
in there.
so what you're saying. So you're saying they made 300 some odd million.
No,
No,
they made back the. What did you say 100 and
they made total. What they made was 46 million dollars.
yeah,
Yeah.
profit. So
Which
they
is
made,
good.
They made back how much it cost to make
Which
the
was-
movie plus
Right.
the 46 million profit. That's extra on top of what
Yeah.
they made
Right.
back.
Right.
So
Which,
on
good
top of
deal.
what They made back.
They made back how like they broke even, and then the
And then they made
46
on
was
top of it.
extra.
Right.
So the 46.
And I'm not saying that's bad, but I want to say that within the last month, I heard that Sound of Freedom movie
yeah, that's
was
just,
like a $17 million budget or something and made like $200 million.
That's just a
And
good
that's not a
movie.
James Bond movie. You know what I mean?
right,
I'm
but I
not
mean that's
bragging
like
on it, I'm
that's
just
like
saying-
it's like 50 years ago or
Yeah.
50 years
No, I
difference.
thought that was adjusted for inflation.
No.
No,
No, yeah,
that's what they
yeah,
actually made then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
which
maybe-
is more than
How much did
double
they spend to make the movie?
138 million dollars.
Are you
Yeah.
I said
serious?
spare
Yeah.
no expense.
That's-
Like,
Well, they spent
Well,
half
that's
their
not even-
budget
that's
on the
shocking to me.
mountain waiting for the storm out.
Oh, they spend
Yeah.
they spend 200 million on the next movie.
That's
Yeah.
shocking to me in 1977 or whatever.
Yeah.
Holy
man,
cow.
but-
But then you think of the
But if you're getting that
regular
return-
MCU movie, which is almost $500 million.
Yeah.
But you have to understand, people were just throwing rocks and playing with sticks back in the day. Nowadays, we got other shit going
Well, they
on.
have a
So
computer that'll
that's
just
all they
do
had
it
to do
all
was go out
instead
to the
of
movies and dinner.
Actually doing practical things, which I think that's a lost art, especially movies now.
Yeah.
Practical effects are awesome.
Mhm.
Yeah.
they just look better. Like there's
Yeah.
no substitute for real fire.
That
Like,
Right.
let's
number
be
is
honest.
shocking to me.
Or even like you see some of the programs for water and everything. It's so complex. You might as well just go on location or like I get why they have these giant hangars with like big pools and stuff of real water because even to like run that through a simulation and CGI and AI and stuff, it's still so hard to get water right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like water is such a pain in the ass to try to do in CGI. Like,
Yeah, because when you see those close-up shots of the Legion of Doom thing, you can see like it's obviously a close-up and a small splash of
Yeah,
water
it's a
or
scale.
something.
Well, it's like and you see like, and that was another thing. The practical effects, like they would actually make like scale models and everything, and the camera manipulation. Like it was, like I said, there was so much more that
It's an
went
art
into
to
it
it.
and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was way like,
Problem solving art. It's got a lot
Yeah.
of appeal. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and even like I said, just so many movies where you had to fix stuff on the fly. Like,
That's why I like Nolan's last movie. It's pretty good because it was a lot of practical stuff.
Adjusted for inflation, The Spy Who Loved Me made $850 million.
Okay.
There you go.
Jesus.
Now that's a big deal.
Mhm.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
so 40 million in the 70s is 800 million now, is what you're telling me. Like, that's how you know our dollar sucks. Like, it's like we are basically just passing around
Yeah,
paper.
where's,
Like,
where's Zimbabwe officially? Yeah.
yeah, like start using it as wallpaper like World War II. Like it just doesn't mean shit. Like that is wild.
That's quite the take.
So then adjusted for inflation, what is the number one and number two then?
Well, they
Still
have
under
1,
volume.
2, 3, 4. They have 5 movies adjusted for inflation over $1 billion.
None of them modern, right?
No, 2 of them are Skyfall and Spectre.
Mm.
Okay. Well, I guess
Both of
by
them were-
percentage.
Not very, to me.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. Casino Royale
Awesome.
was so awesome and knocked everything out of the park, but they weren't. Everybody was disappointed in Daniel Craig being named Bond, so a lot of people didn't go to the theater. But then he got really popular after that. So then Skyfall was next, right?
No, it's Quantum of Solace.
Quantum of Solace, yeah. And so like people were so excited to go see a couple of those movies after that, and they weren't up to par with Casino Royale.
And we'll bitch about that later.
Yeah.
It's
A while
like-
later.
yeah,
We got a while.
No.
And one tidbit to the viewing audience: if the actor that played Jaws looks familiar, he's the guy in Happy Gilmore that goes out and beats Shooter McGavin's ass.
Yes, he did.
Or is like,
Yes.
yeah, guns don't kill people, I kill people.
Yeah.
Yes. And he like bends his one of his clubs and
which
over.
I think, that was real. I
And
feel
you can
like the man-
count on
yeah.
me waiting for you in the parking lot.
Yes.
Richard
Yes.
Keel, I believe is the gentleman's name.
Yes.
He's in one of,
Yeah.
I know one of Alex's favorite. He's in Pale Rider too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like he definitely shone through. He was definitely one of the bigger. He was an inadvertent star of this movie.
Yeah.
Like, let's be honest and everything.
Yeah,
Like,
very memorable.
It was actually larger than life. And
And I just want to point this out. It's not a huge deal, but this is our second movie in a row without Felix.
Hmm.
We had a run there where Felix was in every movie, but
That's true. Yeah.
now we haven't seen Felix for 2 straight movies.
Homie's on vacation.
I guess so. They got tired of recasting him every movie.
Yeah.
Perhaps he decided just to stay on assignment in Jamaica.
I would too.
still
Yeah.
come back. Still there.
Well, is there anything else anybody wants to particularly talk about before we move into our next segment?
Well,
I'm good.
what about the? Let's go back a little bit to the white chairs. How fucking sexualized were those white chairs?
Yeah, the penis chairs.
Say what now?
Yeah.
No,
I
I'm
noticed
talking.
the sexualized chairs.
No, I'm talking
I'm
about
with
the
ya.
white
Well,
chairs.
you were hearing porno music the whole time.
It
Like,
it kind of it looked
saw the
like
wrong
a
movie.
female just bent over, like the legs are up
those,
like
those,
this.
Those hard chairs. That
Yeah,
he
those
had
hard
and-
white
He had her
chairs.
tied
Yeah.
up on one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, the one he had her tied up on. Yeah.
Yeah.
It basically had her ready.
By the way, speaking of having her tied up, she's in a bikini top now. Okay, this every single time a Bond girl gets kidnapped by a Bond villain, they put them in a bikini when he shows back up.
Why not?
I mean, why? Yeah, why
They
not?
can't carry
No,
weapons.
but I mean, do Bond villains just have a closet
Very
full of
practical.
bikinis?
Yeah,
it's practical. It's so that
Yes.
if there's any weapons, they
Because
see
you
it.
see that in a lot of drug.
I'm not saying it's not practical. But what I'm saying is, what do these Bond villains do? Just carry around a case of bikinis in case they kidnap a woman?
They
Like,
Yeah.
always have women around
Why
them,
not?
so I'm sure there's a spare bikini somewhere.
Listen, Stromberg lives underwater. He needs swimwear.
Yeah, it's awesome. That's
It's
also
very practical, Alex.
I guess.
I mean, what was it?
Somewhere
Doctor
is
No.
obsessed.
He was like, "Hey, come stay over here. Take a towel and a washcloth. I mean, I'll pour the drinks in the back. We'll be good here in a minute."
Yeah.
I mean, they're very hospitable guys.
Man with the golden gun gave her a bikini.
So
Just
The chairs really caught. I
He even
noticed the
wanted to
chairs,
stay.
and I'm like, a lot of the furnishings and stuff were peculiar and like 70s futuristic
Yeah.
like
and
70s,
modern.
there was
Yeah,
weird furniture
it was
in the
weird stuff
70s.
that caught
Yeah.
my eye too.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
We're very hospitable villains.
Yeah,
Like that.
totally.
Yeah.
Anything else, right?
No, that's it.
Or anybody else?
Perhaps you'd like to comment on the drapes.
I don't think I'll look too far into Drace on that one. I might have to go back and look
Or
at
the
that.
Damn
carpeting.
cool.
Was that,
By the way,
is that all right?
The paintings that come up and all that. Yeah.
that's what I was getting ready to say. Why does he always open those after everybody leaves? Why doesn't he just leave them open? Why does it have to look like there's paintings there instead of
Because
the?
he's a fish fucker. He jacks.
Yeah.
That's his spank bank. He doesn't want anybody in there while he's doing his thing. He's a fish fucker.
You can't argue.
Yeah.
Makes as much sense.
That's all it is. It's like when when you're 12 and you figure out how to get on the computer to watch porn, then that's what he's doing. Yeah. You do it in secret.
Yeah, he's like, "Where's Ariel? It's a whole new world."
That's Jasmine, by the way.
Well, whatever.
Yeah.
You know where I'm getting at.
It's all well, it's all right.
I'm just glad Ray sang.
All right, we're getting too crazy here, guys. All right, well that'll end our talking about the movie portion, and now I'll move us into rankings. First off, we have body count. I have us down for 3.
That's what I got.
So the blonde in the beginning.
Yep, the chick in the
So-
cabin at the beginning. Obviously, XXX.
Okay.
And I was sitting here trying to think of who the third person was. I just have it written down as 3.
Ah, shit.
There's got to be somebody in the middle of the movie.
Yeah. Fuck, who was it?
Attention to that. I can't think of anybody besides those two.
I mean, there's other women
I
in
think
the
there
cast,
there
but
might have been. Is it one before Triple X? I think once he gets with Triple X, he doesn't get with anybody else.
I think you're right.
I think there was a side chick in her.
There's got to be one, maybe right before.
Because he didn't get Naomi.
No, that's
There's a
that's
chick
not-
named in the cast. There's a chick named Felicia. There's a hotel receptionist. There's an Arab beauty.
Hotel receptionist.
The Arab
was real
Beauty
sweet
was the
on him.
one that
Yeah.
he was the one guy was trying to get him. You sure
He
you
was
don't want to
offering- yeah,
stick
'cause
around? And she was standing there.
Yeah, she's the one.
But I
like,
don't think he
the
he
whole
didn't stay,
desert
though.
rose and everything. Yeah,
Yeah.
like she offered. Yeah,
But he
like-
didn't stay though. So
No, that I think that no, because no, he banged her because
Okay,
she
well,
goes, if you stick around, I have something to
yeah, no,
offer
he
you,
did
and he
say-
goes, I must dig deep on this one or
Well,
something.
he said
No,
when
you
he-
must
like,
dig
when
deep
he
into the
went in
beauties of
whatever-
this.
When in whatever, when in where was he at?
When in Egypt or
When in Egypt, you must.
Oh, yeah.
you must
So
you must dig deep into their beauty or something
So he
like
did-
that. Yeah,
or
he
same
totally
way-
he totally banged that
Alright.
chick.
So yeah,
Yeah,
there
so
you go.
that's three.
But
Yep.
never
You
see
talking
them-
about the girl in the tent with the tummy?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you never see them together.
But it's
beyond
implied-
that
it's-
scene, but
it's
it is
implied
implied.
heavily, yeah.
Right, it's kind of like the gypsy girls from Russia. Like they don't show them sleeping together, but he
Right.
totally slept with them.
Yeah, we counted them.
Yep.
So,
You
Yeah.
guys are right.
Gotta
Okay.
count her.
So yeah.
All right, so did you add those, Ray?
Yep.
All right,
26.
so we're at 26 through 10 movies. So yeah,
Someone's gonna need to get checked out.
MI6 has a
So,
pretty
I mean,
good.
Not once have I,
Like-
seen a condom anywhere. So he's banging all.
They
these
weren't
different
invented
chicks
back
all
then.
over the world. And
all right.
Somebody's
Well,
gonna have some-
that will move us into Bond girl rankings. Just as a reminder, Solitaire is number 1, followed by
She will
Domino, Honey Rider, Goodnight, Romanova, Tiffany Case, Pussy Galore, Kissy, and Tracy. So, Barry, where would you like to rank XXX?
I've taken to saying that my ranking now is based on the rankings we have. These aren't my personal rankings, but based on what everyone's agreed to. I'd put her at 1.
Oh,
Ooh.
Damn.
Wow.
wow,
Hmm.
I like her. I like her a
I
lot.
like her, but she's no Jane Seymour.
She
Well,
is much more sultry and sexy.
Like she almost has like exotic.
Yeah.
There's some
Yes.
exoticness to it.
Yes.
And when I was thinking of my ranking, I was trying to figure out like how much of it is she's better looking and how much of it is they showed her body for the entire movie.
Oh, and I mean,
You know what I mean?
once her chest was out, it stayed out.
Yes.
the entire-
The whole
There's
second
no
half of
back.
the movie, her boobs are out.
Yeah.
So Justin, where's your ranking, sir?
I have her between Honey Rider and Goodnight. So what?
That is the
4.
thing. That is the same place I put her.
Yeah.
So 4, I guess.
Yeah, we got a 1 and 2 4s.
Ray.
Oh, man.
Well, don't pull a Tom on me here and give me dead air.
Oh, I know who I'm getting.
All right, well, Tom, where are you at
I'm
then?
putting her above Tiffany Case.
Oh, okay. So you're putting.
6.
You gotta get these numbers
Yeah, we
right,
gotta
Ray,
fix those.
so we can like actually say numbers without screwing it up.
Sorry, let me get my crew on that next week.
All right.
Damn Edwards.
I have to go. I agree with Barry. I'm going to put her at 1.
Oh.
Yeah, look at that.
So we have a 1, 2 4s, and a
I want
6.
to hear Ray's rationale.
Oh Jesus! He's gonna be like, well, during the plot.
If you can
Steve, let me tell you what
Cast your
I.
memory back to Scorpion.
Hold
King.
on. Hold
percentage
on.
of cleavage shown for the
Triple
movie.
X. Now.
Let me tell you what I wrote down. XXX is. Let me do the Ric Flair. Woo!
Yeah.
Sexy as hell. There you
Yes,
go.
she
There's your
is.
explanation.
So now we have to all be agreeable where are we putting her here. We know where we
So we
stand
have 2 1s
individually.
and 2 4s. So
Yeah.
maybe somewhere, maybe 3, 2, 3.
Does she go? Are you guys going to give in and put her above Honey Rider?
I will go up to a 4. Like I have no quarrels about that. I'll go up.
What was the lowest number?
6.
6.
I'm going to encourage everybody to put her right after Domino. That's how strongly I feel about it.
Man.
And we got 2 1 votes. That's significant.
Yeah, but you're married and raised Ray.
I mean, just look at her, guys. Look at that.
All right. Well, can you
Yeah,
pull?
good
Why
headshot.
don't you pull up more pictures, Ray? Why
Yeah.
why are we just putting a half-naked picture of this chick up and with no comparisons?
Well,
Yeah,
I
you
mean,
gotta
like
pull
I
up-
said,
you
I'll
gotta
get
pull
the
up
I'll get the
Solitaire in
team
that
on that
90s.
next
If he
week.
does that, we're gonna
Yeah.
need the aquarium.
Yeah, if you're comparing, trying to get her number one, you got to pull up Solitaire in that night
Oh,
Let me
man.
real
Her-
fast. Like,
in one
Oh,
of her
shit.
many, cleavage.
Well, I'm
bearing
trying to pull a
scenes.
bias here and pull the right one.
like I said, I'll come up to a 4.
Tom's agreeable to putting her right below Honey Rider.
I'm totally agreeable to going 4 as well, Tom. I agree.
I mean, yeah, well, I
I'm
mean,
agreeable at 4 as well.
Since you guys are all agreeable to 4, Ray and I are both at 1, which is a big deal. I say that you guys need to give in and put her at 3.
Yeah, but Honey Rider has been my 1. So like
That's
it's
not my problem.
we're just negating democracy at this
I
point.
don't know. I don't
No, I'm working it out here.
You're on the
move Honey
campaign.
Rider down anymore.
I'm whipping.
You're campaigning.
I'm whipping for votes.
You just
Oh man.
3? Can we put her at 3? 3?
It's pretty reasonable, fellas.
3? Average.
Frankly,
is 3?
Ray and I are gifting you.
If that-
well, I mean, no, we're not. You're not gifting us. We outvoted you. How are we getting gifted?
But we voted.
and I lowered my standards.
There has to be a high level of regard given to a number 1 vote, and she got 2 number 1 votes.
So I have to lower my standards even more because of that.
Yes.
That's life.
So you're saying your vote's is more important than mine? Is
I'm
what you're saying?
number 1 votes should hold some sway.
Hey,
Yeah.
Might as well be a baby.
AOC, calm down. Your vote isn't more important than mine.
Yeah, we
Barry
do
like that.
Essentially, we're on AOC. So I think
So
Yeah, I
in order
should
to
have
not be communist, you guys can't accept XXX at 3. This is your position.
I don't know. It's hard.
Well,
So Ray, is there no way we can pull up a picture of Honey Rider and
Oh yeah, give me one
if
second
you can
here.
convince, yeah, I was like, if you can convince
Let me
me,
see what I
she's-
can do here.
yeah, I
because
guess
that's really what we're arguing
she's
here. Is she
probably
going to
a
be
chess
before or
player,
after Honey Rider?
Like, I mean,
Sorry, this probably isn't good podcasting while we're sitting here discussing.
it is what it is. Yeah, see, and we get her the icon. It's the iconic scene of the white bikini ad. This, it's, and that's even the '60s and everything. She's practically wearing granny panties. Like, it's still hot as
Yeah.
fuck. Like,
That's
I mean,
what-
true. I can agree with that, but
like I said,
I
could
mean,
you
look
put-
at this.
could
And that's what 1962.
Yeah,
and it's
see?
Ursula Andress. So I mean, she was like the
And come on.
sex symbol.
And I think
of-
she already
time.
has to have points for being a
you
hot
guys
chick
put,
with the name
may I
Ursula.
just say this?
It's an ugly girl's
Your
name.
guys' opinion, it means less to me than it did a few weeks ago because you guys put Dr. Quinn, medicine woman, at number 1.
Hey,
She
we
wasn't
put a
Dr. Quinn at
We
that
put a
point.
19-year-old Dr. Quinn.
And Dr.
at
Quinn is
number
still
1.
hot.
By the way, Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman was hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, Tiffany Case, you told us that there was no way anybody could ever say she wasn't the hottest chick on the list. And everybody in the room disagreed with you. So you can't come at my opinion.
oh man, this is getting
Well,
hot.
we have to agree. I mean, I'm not going to be a big jerk face about it.
No.
But how about
Oh,
we leave it
shit.
to Ray? To settle
leave
it?
it to Ray?
reason.
Do we put her at 3 or do we put her at 4? I get that's ultimately what we're
I
asking.
mean,
right?
I think that's essentially what we're doing here
Yeah,
is 3 or 4. Yeah.
There's
I mean,
four.
as much I want her at 1, and as much as we're lowering it to 3, bro, what are we really arguing here? We might just pick 4 and just go on. Like, this is getting crazy.
I mean, never have Ray in a fight. With,
Oh, man.
well, that was my decision.
Before it
to-
is, it sounds
I
like.
left it to Ray, and Ray landed there. I'm a man of my word. So,
All
all
right.
right.
Before it is.
Good Lord,
We
we
can-
took a while getting there, didn't we?
We did. That's the longest I think we've ever argued about
Hey,
this.
There's going to be some Bond girls and everything coming up in the future. It'll
Especially
be
when you get to the modern.
yeah, I was like, but then, like I said, we're gonna be comparing different beauty trends in different decades. So it is
Mhm.
gonna really be a big dramatic difference because, like,
Oh yeah.
like I said, it did reflect culture. So
I-
we're gonna see what was the
Because,
ideal
you think of,
female
honestly,
form in that time period in history.
when I think about it, Pierce Brosnan had some really good.
He
ones.
does. Pierce
Yeah.
Brosnan
He may
has
not
some
have been the
real.
best Bond, but he probably had some.
He does.
Well,
There-
that fool got
make up
spoiled
for it
for real.
all.
Yeah,
Like,
and then like
there were some good
Craig
Softail
probably
around.
had the worst, I think.
Yeah. Well, Craig spent half his time crying about how much in love he was. So
Yeah,
that wasn't even
He
really.
wasn't even
it was
that
a-
great.
It was a neutered series anyway.
All right.
All right.
So now we move on to the actual movie itself. And just as a reminder, I will tell you the order. At number 1, we have Goldfinger, followed by Thunderball, Dr. No, From Russia with Love, You Only Live Twice, Live and Let Die, Man with the Golden Gun, Diamonds Are Forever, and On Her Majesty's Secret Service. So, Barry, where do you put The Spy Who Loved Me?
I'm slightly torn, but I think I'm going to place it between Golden Gun and Diamonds.
I'll agree. That's where I was putting
That's where I'm at too, actually.
it. Yep.
Oh, no.
I want to
I-
make sure. So you guys,
Well, actually,
you
no, I
guys
have
like
it
Golden Gun more. I
between
no, I did not.
Live and
yeah,
I have it between Live and Let Die and Golden Gun. My bad.
Tom,
Okay.
hold
Live
on,
and Let Die
Tom.
and Golden
All you did last week was sit here and bash the Man with the Golden Gun, and now you're telling me it was good?
No, I think Ray bashed it.
No, all he did was sit here and complain about it.
No,
He
Tom
was the
hated
most
it.
he was the most negative person ever
He
last
seemed
week.
angry when
I
we were
wasn't a
talking
fan.
about it. It was
I was.
bad.
Yeah,
punched me.
We can't let him in the studio anymore. Like, just like he was
We need
escorted
security.
out. Like,
Well, I mean, he's had time to think on it.
I still don't like that movie, but I mean, I don't know. Like,
So you think this one was worse than that? I'm putting it 5. I'm putting it behind From Russia with Love.
I can definitely see From Russia being better than it. I'll agree with you there.
Where did you say, Justin?
Between You Only Live Twice and Live and Let Die.
So you're saying 6.
I think
Yeah.
he's saying
Yeah, I can go with 6. Yeah, I'm good with 6.
So 5, 6, and then two 8s.
Damn.
I think the numbers are a little jacked up. Ray, where's your numbers guy?
So
Um,
5 is You Only Live Twice. 6 is Live and Let Die. 7 is Man with the Golden Gun.
And I'm going to say it with this caveat. I think when I watch this movie a time or two more, I think I'll like it more. I think it's one of those movies.
Like
so
a slow
I'm
burn.
Yep. So I'm willing to.
I-
Grows on
I
you.
think this is similar to From Russia with Love in the fact that the plot is very intricate and deep, and you like I liked that so much about this movie. The plot was way better than any of the other Moore movies, and at least the last one or two of Connery's movies.
Okay.
So my position was generally, between Gun and Diamonds, but I'm willing to accept it wherever you guys think.
Well, what's everybody thinking? Other than Barry, because he just said what he thought.
So what are we at with
6.
numbers? I have 6.
5, 2 6s, and 2 8s.
I'll come up to a 6
So that's 3 6.
because I mean I can justify it to myself and every. I mean, yeah.
So Barry, are we, since we're the only ones not there, are we both willing to go to 6?
Yeah.
Okay, fair
There
enough.
we
So we're
go.
going to 6. So that will be number 1 will be Goldfinger, followed by Thunderball, Dr. No, From Russia with Love, You Only Live Twice, The Spy Who Loved Me, Live and Let Die, The Man with the Golden Gun, Diamonds Are Forever, and Her Majesty's Secret Service. So my final question, guys, is what's it going to take for Her Majesty's Secret Service to not be last?
Pierce Brosnan.
Pierce Brosnan or the next one?
No, I'm not voting against my guy Tim.
I'll admit,
No, I
like,
like Timothy
it's,
Dalton.
It's gonna.
Are you talking about Craig?
No, the next
Yeah, I think
movie.
Oh, the next movie. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
There's gonna be, yeah, I don't know. There's gonna be some weird stuff because, like, even rewatching these and all that, and just looking at it from a current perspective and all, like, there's still so many we haven't seen. Like there may be a steaming pile of shit somewhere that we just don't know about.
Oh yeah.
Then Brosnan and Craig they both have taken.
Like,
Yeah, they do. There's gonna be some bad movies coming
yeah,
up.
so I mean, it's and not bad in the sense where it's still fun to watch. It's like this is like cringe through the whole
Yeah,
thing. Like, just like
There's gonna be some cringes
brace,
next week.
brace yourself. Like,
All right, I just wanted to ask that question. All right, so we appreciate you tuning in for this Spy Who Loved Me episode, and we would appreciate you tuning in next week for our Moonraker episode. And thanks, Justin, for that. And thanks for tuning in to Blockbuster Bums.